great disturbance in the force, as if millions of
Wanda
people
stands.
cried out in terror and were suddenly silenced. I fear something terrible has happened.
What's up, YouTube? JM Comics here, and today I'm here with my review of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And I saw this movie yesterday, and obviously, spoiler warning for the entire movie. And there are some pretty significant things for the MCU in this movie. So even if you don't care about this movie, but you care about the Marvel Universe, I would suggest not watching this review until you've seen the movie. So without further ado, let's get right into it. And I'm gonna start with my overall impressions, and this is a good movie in my opinion. Many people have been hating on this movie, and I understand where they're coming from. I'll get into it later. But I still really like this movie. I enjoyed it. It's not as good as Spider Man No Way Home, but it's probably the second best Phase 4 movie besides it. And let's get right into the main details of it, okay? So, first off, my expectations weren't personally high for this movie. I had a lot of expectations for Spider Man No Way Home, and it met all of my expectations. But near the end, the hype was getting out of control for me, so I just couldn't handle it again with this movie. And thank God I didn't have that much hype because, I mean, many people said they were disappointed by this movie, and if I went in as hyped as they were, I would definitely have been disappointed. So I'm glad I went in with little expectations because No Way Home took the blunt force of my expectations. So yeah, before this movie, I had heard though that there were like 25 different character cameos, or people were suggesting random stuff like Nicolas Cage returning as Ghost Rider, or Tom Cruise playing Iron Man. Like I'm so happy there wasn't all that, and I can understand why people were disappointed from that. But yeah, so I guess technically the movie wasn't never spoiled for me because there were like 25 separate names being thrown around, and yeah, some of them were correct. So we'll get to those later on though. So I'm gonna try to go through the movie in chronological order, sort of, or like main idea order. So we'll start with the beginning of the movie, and it was pretty much basic Marvel Cinematic Universe plot. I mean, Doctor Strange went to a wedding. At the beginning, you kind of saw a chase scene of another Doctor Strange, Defender Strange, and America Chavez. But then it started with Doctor Strange at a wedding, Christine's wedding, and it had just sort of generic Marvel stuff, and he went to recruit Scarlet Witch. Up until that point, it was kind of another Marvel movie, and I'm so sick of normal Marvel. So I was very happy that this movie took a great turn after Steven confronts Wanda. So yeah, but up until that point, it seemed like an average Marvel movie. The wedding plotline feels straight out of Spider-Man 2. Like Sam Raimi really wants to explore what would happen if a superhero actually didn't end up marrying the girl he likes, because Peter Parker almost nearly ended up in the same situation in Spider-Man 2. So yeah, this gave him a chance to explore that. And I'll talk about Sam Raimi as director overall. He did a lot of horror stuff before the Spider-Man trilogy, and he hasn't really been back into the superhero game until this movie after the Spider-Man trilogy. So he's 15 years rusty, I guess, from the superhero genre, but he still did a great job of this movie, and you can definitely feel some of the Raimi-isms in it, I guess. Like it feels a little bit like the old Spider-Man movies, but I think it's far less cringy, so that's a plus. So yeah, let's talk about Doctor Strange as a character. In this movie, he has really interesting arc as he learns to move on from the past. Okay, he learns to move on from Christine, moving on basically. He learns that just because life gives you bad cards, you don't have to hold on to that regret, hold on to that grief, or become evil because of it. And it's obviously reflected through other versions of himself, like the evil Doctor Strange he meets. Yeah, it's a great message, and the message is also reflected in Scarlet Witch, or Wanda Maximoff, because her whole thing in this movie is that she wants to bring her children back. So yeah, in the same way that Doctor Strange has to let go of his love for Christine, she has to let go for her love for her fake children. Additionally, Doctor Strange was given more sympathy in this movie than he was in the first movie and the other movies that he's been in. Like normally he's portrayed as kind of like a terrible person or kind of obnoxious, and in this movie, yeah, he was a little bit obnoxious. But personally, I don't find him that obnoxious in general. And in this movie, they made him a nicer character than he was in those movies. And the other variants of Doctor Strange, or they kind of vary for me. I mean, they're clearly not characters. They're just meant to reflect different aspects of Doctor Strange. Defender Strange dies in the beginning, so he's kind of useless. Besides his body being used near the end. What's his name? Evil Strange is just Evil Strange. He just is dark reflection of what would happen if Doctor Strange obsessed over Christine. Sort of like the What If Strange Supreme, which I'm kind of happy he wasn't in this show because he had a very complete arc on What If. And finally, the Doctor Strange of the Illuminati universe, or Earth 838, I think. Apparently he was evil and he collapsed the whole another universe. So yeah, I guess he got what he deserved. But anyway, there's one line I really like from a cameo character, Professor X, where he goes like, "We can't judge people for their mistakes of the past, or yeah, for their past. We can only let them choose their future," something like that. And it's the most inspirational line probably of the Phase 4 so far. Like, there's not much about Phase 4 that's been really gripping narrative wise. So that was a great theme for them to explore, moving on and giving people second chances. On to the villain of this movie, and wow, can I just say, I was honestly pleasantly surprised that Scarlet Witch was the villain of this movie. Because after WandaVision, I thought Wanda was gonna become, she was already kind of an anti-hero, but I thought she was gonna lean more towards the, I guess, heroic side at this point. Because I thought WandaVision was her most villainous form, but no, no. She got worse in this movie. She became a full-on murderer. She killed off an entire team of superheroes. She killed so many sorcerers at the Kamartaj. But yeah, I really liked seeing her transform into a villain because we haven't really had something like this in the superhero genre. We haven't had a time where a character is introduced as a hero and over time evolves into a villain. So we've had the opposite. We've had Loki go from a villain to a fallen hero. But this was amazing, okay? And the way they end her story at the end of this movie by killing her off, I really like that. I don't think they should bring her back, but with Agatha House of Harkness coming out, she's probably gonna come back. So. Cameos in this movie had me and the guy next to me, Matthew, screaming our minds off. Like, honestly, no one else in the theater really understood those references. Like, my brother understood, but he didn't have any reaction to it. But it was like Mr. Fantastic, played by John Krasinski, the fan casting, and the suit was so amazing. Professor X from the 90s cartoon, Black Bolt, Maria Rambeau as Captain Marvel, that one was okay. And Peggy Carter as Captain America. I don't know if it's the same universe as the What If Peggy Carter, but I mean, I hope so. Because I don't think you should bring her back, just kill her off. It was nice seeing all these characters in live action with Marvel's Illuminati, but watching them all die felt like such a middle finger to all the fans. It was like, we're gonna give you what you want, but we're gonna take it away immediately afterwards. But it was a funny tease, and I really liked it. So I thought it was a cool direction for them to go in to kill off a bunch of heroes. Like, Marvel's kind of the most cowardly studio when it comes to killing off main characters. Like, I know people are like, oh no, Iron Man gone, my life's ruined. But like, Iron Man survived 10 movies, or like 10 years. Like, he should have died way before that, in terms of narrative. So yeah, the characters feel kind of immortal in these movies, so it's nice to see some people dying. But why these people? That's the only problem. We just met them and then they killed them off. But with the multiverse, we'll probably see all these characters again. Maybe not from the same actors, but we'll see the same characters again. America Chavez was a pretty interesting plot device character and side character. I knew she was in this movie, seeing trailers and stuff and posters, but I didn't really know how important she would be. But little did I know she was like the center of the plot. But yeah, she plays a great role here, and I can't wait to see what they do with her next. They're probably gonna make her, one of the characters in the Young Avengers with Haley Steinfeld's Kate Bishop and Stature from Ant-Man. So nice to see her going in that direction. On the other hand, Mordo is another character in this movie that I knew they were in this movie, but I didn't know their role. But I don't know if I was disappointed by Mordo's role in this movie. I was completely fine of it. It's just the problem is this is not our main universe's Mordo, and they literally explained that the main universe Mordo kind of fought Doctor Strange off screen, and he's trying to kill him. So I hope we see main universe Mordo eventually soon. But I was still fine with this variant, and maybe both the variant and the original Mordo can team up in a sequel. That'd be really cool. So Doctor Strange 3 can have two Mordos and Dormammu. And yeah, I'm just gonna have a quick shout out to my boy, the Green Bull Wizard. I don't know his name, but he's just Green Bull. And every time I thought he was gonna die, me and Matthew were screaming our minds off again. It literally got to the point where a guy sitting behind my brother was like, "These two need to shut up. They should stop their BS." And he started like cussing us out. But whatever. The point is, we were hyped this entire time. Every time we thought the Green Bull guy was gonna die, we lost our minds. And whenever we thought Wong was gonna die, we also lost our minds. So this movie kept us on the edge of our seats, I guess. And yeah, that's about it for this movie. I mean, you can definitely feel that there were creative differences between Scott Derrickson and Marvel Studios and Sam Raimi. But at the same time, unlike Spider-Man 3, there was a case where the movie studios interfering didn't really ruin the movie. It just made it feel way different. It was a pretty great movie. Overall, I'll give it an 8 out of 10. And in terms of entertainment, I'll give it an A plus out of 10. Probably an A out of 10. A out of... No, not A plus out of 10. I'd probably give it an A in terms of entertainment, an 8 out of 10. And yeah, definitely go check it out in the theaters. I really enjoyed it, but I can understand why some people don't like it, because the plot was pretty straightforward, all things considered. But at the same time, there were so many confusing elements. And unless you're a really hardcore Marvel fan, you won't get a lot of the cameos. So yeah, I definitely recommend seeing it in the theaters, but it's probably not for everyone. And finally, let's talk about the end credit scene quickly. Yeah, I knew who Clea was before seeing the movie, like Doctor Strange's wife in the comics, and Dormammu's niece. So it was nice to get her in the after credit scene, because I was wondering why Christine was his main love interest in these two movies instead of Clea. But it's nice that we're gonna finally get her. So that's great, and that's about it. JM Comics out.